Welcome back, everybody. Automotive Inc. Today, I brought back the car enthusiast to check out our 250,000-mile Chevy Avalanche. Yes, that's right, 2007 Chevy Avalanche with a 5.3. It is an LTZ, so it's the most loaded you could get for that year. Plus, meaning it had every option you can get on a Chevy truck. And I had to bring him back because he loves cars like me, but he also had I think it was a 99 or 2000 GMC Sierra C3. Now the C3 was the pre-truck to the Denali, so it was a sweet ass truck. He had it for a long time, then I bought it off him. Really cool. So he has appreciation for these older trucks. He took an opportunity to walk around this truck and check everything out, and for the year and stuff, now he's getting an opportunity to drive kind of like the old school stuff. So all right, so back in an old truck, right? You have a 22 Lincoln Aviator right now, so this is a little bit more old school, right? A little bit older camera tech and everything, but what's your thoughts on this truck in general?
I am totally impressed with the age of this particular vehicle and the way it drives. You might as well be something that is maybe in the anywhere from 5 to maybe 7 year timeline. That the individual that had this before really did a fabulous job of maintaining. Then you came in and just made it look like it's at a showroom. If you were back at showroom in 2007, this would have been right there in the center of the facility, ready to be sold. It's a beautiful view.
Right. Yeah, because looking back, truck's a lot simpler than it would have been back then, although it does have a factory touchscreen, which would be rare that this even survived from that era. These usually get beat up, swapped out. You know, you'd expect I'll have to replace a lot of leather and plastics to be broken, but it really did hold up well. And now you look at newer cars, we'll talk about the Lincoln here in a little bit, but it's like how well it did hold up. The Carfax checked out. It's not like it was in the doctor's office a lot getting mechanic work done on it. But for having almost 170,000 just on the odometer and have been down the road almost $250,000, doesn't feel like that.
No, I mean even the suspension is just as comfortable riding as you would get in a full-size pickup today. I mean, they just really well put together, and it does throw me back to my C3. As far as the comfort, the seat comfort is amazing in the older GM vehicles. They really did an awesome job with the way that they put the seat and the configuration of the interior together. The fit is really well put together. The seat comfort, especially under your legs, is to where your knees are. Again, just really well put together and feels good.
Yeah, and GM definitely should go back to this era of seat making, because the one in Kong were substantially firmer. I'm not sure what the gain was that, but I knew some people back in the 90s didn't like GM seats because they were so soft and so squishy and so big that maybe the complaint department took over that and got these to that point where they just got so firm. But yeah, these seats are really comfortable, and this has a 5-link rear coil, so it does dynamically drive like an SUV, yeah, I guess, of this current era. And that's what's crazy about the Chevy Avalanche. It started in 2002, kind of came out, and then it was gone by 10, if I believe right. Was one of the smartest trucks GM ever made, but at the time, people still either wanted a big truck or they just wanted an SUV. And now this whole idea is most people want to use a truck as an SUV, and this truck does all of that.
It would have nailed it. This particular style, thinking of it, looking at the amount of seats that are available, absolutely perfect. Set up, and not just 5 medium-sized people, a full-size adult people.
Absolutely. And then behind that seat is the GM midgate, meaning with the tailgate up, you can slide 4x8 sheets of drywall all the way up to the back of that seat inside the cab and shut the tailgate and keep them out of the weather. Go camping in this thing, take out the back window and put down the midgate, and you could slide a full-size freezer for your basement in this truck and shut the tailgate. I mean, I think it's ingenious what they did there. The new Chevy Silverado EV minus the side boxes is kind of like an Avalanche.
Yeah, I mean, as far as manufacturers are concerned, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, they all should look at this particular configuration again. I bet if they were to really put it into practice as they did during this time now, I think it would be a successful implementation. I really do. I think it would really hit the market in a better way than it has in a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to have 1,600 pounds of payload in an SUV/truck, being able to extend your cargo. The bed, we'll get a measurement on at some point, but I think the bed itself is probably like almost 8 feet long with the tailgate, because the tailgate's longer than a standard one. And you know, it just makes a lot of options. And the 5.3 is still super strong and torquey at
real torquey,
170,000 miles. No work done to the transmission, drivetrain of this truck, only maintenance type things, and it still gets up and goes.
Smooth as silk. I mean, it really, truly is. We got a speed demon here, but just real strong for being almost a 20-year-old vehicle. It real strong. You can tell everything is tight, but I swear that was pretty impressive. The acceleration is right on par with today's 5.3 liter GMs.
Yeah,
flat out.
Because the newer trucks are even lighter than this one. This one is a heavy one back then, and it wasn't necessarily known as a powerhouse, but I mean, good torque. And this one actually has active fuel management in it. So I mean, it's, you know, people expect this active fuel management to have problems, and this one never had any problems. It just keeps on going. So I think GM had some of them right. Obviously they had some issues with it, but I mean, really,
I mean, because this has the electronic controlled cylinder management, it's a much better configuration than the first run that they tried to do with this. And you can tell this is a very well put together vehicle.
Yeah, and I think it really goes into shows. We'll talk a little bit about the Lincoln now. We can even talk about Loki. So you could have an $80,000, $90,000 SUV, car, truck, whatever, and the thing's already failing or being recalled like, you know, every other minute. And yet you have this one. Yeah, it's got a lot of miles, and yes, it's old. And yeah, it doesn't have some of the safety stuff. People won't like the new stuff too. But who's to say you go spend on an $80,000 brand new one and have lots of problems, or you buy a high mileage one that's been very well maintained, and you end up having a good truck that's proven itself already on the road. It's basically said, hey, just keep driving me, man, right? Change my oil, do the stuff. And yet the newer ones have so much tech that if a sensor goes out for, say, a passenger, it may disable the vehicle, right? Or whatever.
This has all the sensors that you really need. For this particular, for a 2007, you've got the backup sensors, you've got the it gives you the ability to understand when you're backing out. If there's something behind you, it'll warn you. It's more audible than it is visual. But as long as you're listening for those cues, it pretty much puts it in the same arena that you would today buying a new vehicle minus the camera setup.
Right. Absolutely. And that's really the kind of thing that I've always seen a lot of people drive their cars 200,000-300,000 miles. They drive them like they stole them. They don't really probably maintain them well, and they just keep on trucking. The car's falling apart. But that seems to work. And here you and I both spend lots of money on these new cars, and Loki's been in the shop 35 days since I owned it. It still has a current electrical issue. Your Lincoln has how many recalls on it?
This is the 9th recall. What is bad about the Lincoln? It's a fabulous car from the way that it's positioned and put together. But Ford has done horrible as far as really being quality control focused. And I'm sitting on one recall that's a year old, and lo and behold, they have a fix for it. But it's either the particular dealer I'm dealing with, or it is not. We're not being told all of what's going on from the factory. They haven't done the recall. They haven't fixed what they needed to fix. I've gotten to the point where I'm not even gonna fuss with it. I won't have the Lincoln very much longer.
Right. And I think that's something frustrating because as we know, Lincoln's the top of the line for Ford. Just like Cadillac's the top for GM. And when you constantly have issues or recalls or whatever on something that costs that much moolah, even low-key, all the issues, it just sucks. And you know once it's out of warranty, that's when the stuff's really going to go bananas in it. And just think about a car from this age probably has 5, 6, 8 computers. These new ones probably have a 50. It's probably got a little sensor computer for everything that's in it. And I think that can really put it into a tough scenario, especially when it's not a cheap car to repair.
Yeah. I mean, the one recall for the screen that actually flashes, it's absolutely your electrostatic discharge or electromagnetism of your cell phone actually interferes with the screen itself. There's a shroud that they're going to put in that'll buffer or take away from the blinking, the flashing. I remember telling them about that really back when I first bought it, because you put your phone in an easy location for you to be able to put it into its little holder, and the minute you put it into a holder, all hell breaks loose. I was told that there was problems with the camera, there was problems with the wiring. Come to find out, it ultimately became a recall that there is a fix for it, but we're a year out and they haven't done a damn thing about it.
Yeah, and that's crazy. And it has gotten him to the point where he's going to trade it off. He's going to move forward into a newer vehicle. We'll come back later and talk about that vehicle when he gets it. But it is frustrating. Definitely frustrating. Like on my pickup, Loki, the 24, that thing's been having issues. Ford definitely has, and probably across the board, even Toyota had that big recall, their Tundras and stuff. But again, as you keep adding and adding all of this stuff to these newer vehicles, there is a higher likelihood of growing pains and recalls. And just look at the replacement. I mean, at some point, this stuff's going to stop working. I mean, this thing, if something stopped working, it's still early enough. You just need earth, wind, and fire to make it basically roll,
Yeah.
And you're good. Or you can buy an aftermarket stereo for a couple $100 off the Zon or whatever. But to buy a truck like this in this era, you're talking $100,000, even if they made it. I mean, a crew cab half-ton truck is, with this kind of stuff and the leather and stuff, you're talking $60,000.
Oh, easy. And we just going back to Ford. I mean, it was quality one was their big, selling point, and somewhere along the line, that mission went away, and they can't claim anything other than just complacency as they've gone forward. It's very disheartening because there's a good amount of families that are supporting Ford in many ways, and I got to blame the management. That's where you've got to put the entire responsibility and accountabilities on the management crew of Ford for not really holding individuals more accountable to their work.
Right. And I think that is something that has changed over time between the management, all the people always fighting for more raises and more money and stuff, but yet there's more robotics engaged in truck manufacturers now. But there is a human element there that I think that is failing a lot of these manufacturers, and I think that's why they're having a lot of issues. And there was a time when people just had pride in their work, and I'm not sure when it necessarily lost a lot of these manufacturers, but I feel after like 10, 11 on a GM product, it kind of started getting a little bit off.
I agree.
And I think Ford, especially over the last handful of years, has
just fell off. Just fell. They've absolutely fallen. And because of the scenario that we're in, I won't look at a Ford product going forward. And I do very much appreciate the Ford product as a whole, but I'm done with having to fuss with Ford.
Yeah, and that's completely understandable. And that's why I think it's a compelling argument for people out there short on a budget, short on money, would like to have some of this creature comfort stuff in there. Can you find a gem of age, even with high mileage? Absolutely. I think this truck is a testament, right?
100%. 20-year-old vehicle, almost 20. And yet it drives just as nice as a majority of the vehicles that you buy today. It really, truly does. I mean, it well put together. You can actually see and feel the quality. And it's whoever buys this is getting a gem.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's definitely a compelling argument. You see the problems with the new ones. We just talked about that. But was it fun hearing that old V8 rumble?
Yeah.
Feeling the big squishy GM seats?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to get him over here to drive the truck because we're wrapping up everything that I needed to get done on it. And more than likely, with all the cars I got, I'm going to have to let my toy go. So I wanted to get him over in it because, again, we both really appreciate cars of any era. And so it's just been a lot of fun. So as always, guys, we appreciate you guys stopping by. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up at the end of the video, notification bell so we know post new content. We're going to catch you on the next one.